Hello dear friends, welcome to Susegard Stories with Shiba. Today I'm going to be making you meet two very interesting young ladies who have left very high profile jobs in places like New York, Bangkok, Bombay and moved base here to Goa. And what are they doing here in Goa? They are running an animal shelter. Their organization is called Angels for Animals and it is run by two sisters, Sejal Vora and Shraddha Vora. So today I'm going to be taking you to their shelter and we are going to have a little chat with both the sisters about their shift to Goa and about their work with the animals. It's going to be very exciting. So let's go.
Hey, welcome.
Come, let's see your babies.
Sure. So this is where the people clinic for the doctor. They are here. So we have what
You
we
started
call,
a clinic now?
Yeah. So we've basically this is a hospital.
Okay.
But we didn't have enough resources to actually open up to people around community animals who need help.
Okay.
Finally, just yesterday, we've announced that we found a second vet, and we're hoping that this subsidized clinic will help to
Yeah.
help animals
Plus sustain
and
the place.
sustain his salary.
Yeah. You follow. You.
Just shut the door. Shut the door. This is the surgeries चालू हो गया है क्या? Oh, okay. So this is where the doctors sit and everything is controlled from this room. Like you see, we don't give our animals numbers; we give them names.
I can see the names.
Because
Can
each
you,
one is
Can
a.
you just go to the names of the animals? I can see Gabru, Baba, Bacha, Mia, Nadi.
Everybody gets a
Cat,
chance.
Chandini भी है. Jojo, Fluffy.
Shiba भी है एक by the way.
I'd like to meet
Shiba कहाँ है?
हाँ वो इधर
Shiba.
दिखाओ इधर दिखाओ. मैं भी रह रही हूँ एनिमल शेल्टर में.
Yeah. So if you look today, currently total animals in house is 124.
Oh, so right now Sejal's animal shelter has 124 animals, and in that would be how many cats, how many dogs?
74 dogs and 50 cats. This is our lab and medicine room. Come.
पूरा दिखाओ.
We have blood test machines.
So you're quite well equipped.
I have 150 animals under treatment. I'm in fact I don't have space. I'm overflowing. You know the thing is that to be cost effective, we need to buy in bulk. So if you buy in bulk, you need storage. So we are literally like stuffed to the T because this is how much is used in rotation. That's the KFT LFT machine, CBC machine, microscope. So we have all diagnostics in house. Every single animal that goes in for surgery has to go through a blood test first.
Okay.
No other NGO does this.
Yeah.
You know, because we do almost 15 to 20 surgeries a day.
And what do they eat, Sejal?
So we give them chicken, rice and pumpkin, and for the cats it's fish and wet cans. We mix it with a little bit of rice, and we consume roughly 800 kilos of chicken per month.
Fun. Okay. Wow. And rice?
Same.
Same.
Yeah.
And how many times do they eat? Once or
Twice.
Twice.
And fresh food, everything. We're extremely, I don't know if you've seen other shelters, but our levels of cleanliness, our levels, it has to be like my own dog will come here.
Yeah.
Because these are all my babies, and if anyone deserves comfort, it's them.
Right.
Not owned pets who are always comfortable.
Right.
They've led hard lives,
Yeah.
and now if they are sick, it's our duty to give them respect, comfort, clean, healthy food, nutrition. Look at that.
So that's all chicken for them?
Yes. And pumpkin, can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good.
Nobody puts pumpkin, huh?
I give my dog pumpkin also.
Yeah. Because that's a very luxurious thing. See, we give all our dogs coconut husks to play with if they feel like playing. This one, na, both her back legs are gone. We couldn't save it. Pehla ek gaya, dusra we were trying. So because she cannot climb on a bed, she gets one on the floor. He's paralyzed, back legs, accident.
Oh,
Even Lucy is paralyzed.
let Lucy so happy.
Hi. Hi guys. Hi mera bachcha. Hi mera Raja. Hi. So Lucy got paralyzed in a car accident.
Yes, happy. Such a happy baby. Such a happy baby. Who's come? Who's come? Yeah. Everybody wants to play with you. Everybody wants to play with you. Yeah.
Okay, and listen, so the job is such that it's not a desk job. तो क्या होता है कि मीटिंग्स यहाँ होती है 4 o'clock staff meeting. So it is understood that the dogs will use the space and live like a home kind of life because now these are all up for adoption. But nobody is going to adopt
Yeah.
easily.
Easily.
They are langra and little this and that, and they're not the most gorgeous looking dogs, but they are extremely loving. So what happens is cats also get some out time in time because they don't know each other. You know how cats fight, na? So come. See, now he's a paralyzed cat.
How can I leave you back and go? How can I? What's this one's name?
One is Mickey, one is Minnie. I don't know which is which.
This is male. Male?
Yeah.
Oh, I have such an alpha male at home, not allowing me to get any more.
Yeah.
I got him from the streets also.
इधर से पकड़ ले नीचे से. So you can talk about him in the camera and say that he's up for adoption and
So this
his name is Mickey.
This is Mickey, and he needs a little home, lovely home, loving, caring parents. Look how much he's such a lovely baby, just sticking to me, and look at his eyes, and he wants to go home with me. But the problem with me is I have a very ferocious alpha male, which again I bought from the streets, and he will not let any other dog come into his domain. So anybody who is out there and wants to adopt Mickey, please get in touch with Angels for Animals. Look at him.
Be careful.
And there are many more that you can adopt, not just Mickey from here.
Yeah.
Okay, go play. Go play.
So this is where I sit.
Okay.
This is where our this Tabrez Nikita handles the accounts. Tabrez is our assistant, and this is the most important department. So I don't allow a single animal here because bills cannot be torn and destroyed and all. It's too sensitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of paperwork, and it's crazy. It's way
Paperwork
more than
meaning?
Meaning, I need to justify every rupee I've used.
Yeah, true.
You know, so I need to give annual reports, I need to give utilization certificates, I need to show that the donor who's given a amount ki kahan spent.
So Raj, what do you do at Angels for Animals?
So I do rescues for them, I trap animals, injured animals for them, I bring them to the center, release them, I help them with any aggressive dog that is there, so I help them with their behavior and training, and I manage the center overall. A dog named Pintu, I rescued him all the way, When we rescued him, we brought him here. He was an aggressive dog. He had a huge maggot wound in his ear, and he wouldn't allow anyone to touch. And it was crazy to work with him. It took him about 4-5 months to heal completely. But the best part about him was that he did heal fully. And then the heartbreaking part comes where we had to release him back, but the reporters simply denied that this dog, they would not take the dog back.
Okay.
And so Pinto had to stay with us for another 6 months in a cage because he was not getting along with other dogs. Then we had a behaviorist who came, who helped us with understanding how Pinto is. And then we did then come to know that he was a friendly dog, he was just a fearful dog, and we didn't know about it. So because of we not understanding a dog, the dog was in a cage for 6 months, and that was a heartbreaking thing for us. But as soon as we understood that, we worked with him very religiously, got him friendly with other dogs, and now he's finally adopted. He has got a home. He has got another senior dog where he lives with, and they keep sending us videos of Pinto. So yeah, it's a good story, but the heartbreaking part was that we couldn't understand one dog, and he had to stay in a kennel for 6 months because we understood he's an aggressive dog, couldn't be trained.
It's difficult to understand dogs. We think we understand them, but there are so many nuances to them that we cannot understand. You know, I have a dog myself who I picked up from the road, and he is now almost 5 years old. But you know, with any sudden movements, he still gets scared so much that he even attacks me.
He's an anxious dog otherwise?
He's a very anxious dog. He starts shivering and all.
Okay.
And otherwise, he's the gunda of the house. He's the alpha. He will bully all the other dogs in the house. But he's got some kind of
Any
trauma.
sudden movement scares him?
Any sudden movement. So if he's sleeping and if I go to hug him, he will bite me.
Yeah.
So I have to be very careful. First take his name, slowly give my hand. That's there. And I read somewhere that, you know, street dogs over the years, because of all the trauma that's been inflicted on them, it's become generational. It's this trauma passes down from mother to the kid to the kid. So the Pinto could have been one of those. So Shraddha, you are younger to Sejal, right?
Yes, yes.
9 years younger, I
Yes,
believe.
yes.
Yeah. So what made you want to join with her and start this enterprise?
Actually, our journey happened organically together because we started out feeding and rescuing. Our first rescues in Goa happened together.
Now, which area did you start first?
Our first rescue was actually a calf rescue in Siolim, but I think it was my childhood dream to have a hospital for animals because
And now
when
you
I
have
was
it.
younger, I had lost
lived
a
your
puppy
dream.
that I had rescued. And I remember at that time thinking that, you know, we need to do something. So I'm glad that the universe is making it happen for us.
So Sejal, where were you brought up and raised?
I was born in, raised in Bombay.
Bombay?
Yes.
So you're a Bombay girl?
I'm a Bombay girl, and I went to New York when I was 20.
20.
Yeah.
For your education? What
No, I actually wanted to do something and I wanted to explore the world, and I was one of those
Wow,
wild
exciting,
childs. Yeah. So I went there, and I did have a lot of jewelry experience work. We used
Were
to
you-
supply bracelets to all the large retailers in the US.
So you were not designing, you were supplying.
I was into manufacturing and production of bulk, large-scale jewelry. And from there I realized that there is a huge demand, and so I eventually left that company and set up my own company. And I set up a factory in Bangkok, and I used to export jewelry to the US companies.
Wow, you're quite an
Yeah.
accomplished woman.
Yeah, but it took a very heavy toll on me because the monies were really big. I was young. I became like 200 kilos. I had high blood pressure issues. I had so many health issues because that stress flying between Bangkok and New
Yeah.
York, and at the age of 25
Yeah.
doing business in millions.
Yeah.
So I decided that it was not worth it, and I sold my company. And I moved back to India, and
Which year around was
that
this?
was, I moved back in 2004, and I started to deep dive into alternative therapies to heal my mind, my body.
So did you move direct to Goa or
No,
to
Bombay.
Mm.
Bombay. I went back to Bombay, and I was very blessed to have some really amazing gurus and guidance in my life, which helped me heal my mind, my body, my soul, because I lived such a materialistic life in the US, you know, and I got sucked into that money and everything else that goes with it.
When you look back now, it's like you know, how could I do this?
Yeah, I waste so much money on stupid designer bags and like want to go out and show those bags and like be in the circle where it's all about the bags and your jewelry and what
your
you
shoes
have
and dresses.
Yeah, and there's no soul in that, you know. Of course, I was so young that it took me a while to understand everything. And my spiritual journey began only at 30.
30.
Yeah,
So-
when I came back to India.
So by 30 you had made a lot of money.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then I sold my company, I moved back, and I knew that I needed a new life. I healed my mind, I healed all my traumas, I worked with all my demons, and slowly layers started to shed, and I started to become the real me, which was even physically, like from the makeup I used to wear in New York to nothing, because it didn't matter anymore, and it was about the inside. And all of those realizations made me realize that now eventually I don't even want to live in a city. I want to move to a quieter life. A rural
setup.
more, yeah.
So we are going to go step by step. Okay, so you got into this holistic living kind of thing, and then what made you move to Goa?
To lead a more holistic life.
After making all that money and saying poo to it, what was your philosophy on wellness and community service then?
So, community service, strangely, I never ever donated money to any NGOs because I always thought they were fraud, you know. And today I realize that I was so wrong, and there are so many NGOs doing good work, but
you never know. You never know.
Yeah, and so I didn't do much of community work at all.
Okay.
I only worked on the self because I was quite broken.
Yeah.
You know.
That needed to be
That
healed
needed
first.
to be healed first.
Can you share your approach to how you started getting inclined towards animal welfare?
On my birthday in 2017, at 11:45 in the night, I'm not a birthday person, I was in bed and my husband said, "Baby, come, let's have one drink. You know, it's your birthday." And I was like, "Okay, theek hai." We were in a villa, rented villa in Asagaon, gated complex, you know, doors with glass.
Yeah.
And we're having a drink and I hear banging on the door. It was August, it was pouring. And I was like, "You called friends? I told you I don't like to celebrate my birthday." He's like, "I haven't called anybody, baby." So who's at the door? I opened the door, in came a puppy.
Oh,
Wet, dirty, banging on the door.
good thing.
Okay, I was like, what? And we picked up the puppy, we wiped the puppy, and it had come on midnight, banging the door. It was not a puppy I rescued कि चला रही थी, देख लिया मैंने उठा लिया, नहीं.
Came to you.
God sent it in style on my birthday, midnight. मतलब
knocking on your door.
lock, yeah, it's like this is how this is not a sign, then I don't know what
Yeah.
is. And so that was the first time that I got an animal in my hand, so up close, my responsibility, and it was damn difficult. I was in that mode of enjoying Goa and wanting to do my thing, and now can't leave this puppy and can't go here and can't go there, and hubby and me would fight every morning कि तू walk पे ले जा, तू walk पे ले जा. I think the best thing that happened to our marriage was her. You know, she came into our marriage and she brought in that child and responsibility energy. And I obviously then fell in love with the animal kind, you know. But again, still, it was not that I was going to open an NGO, it was just that I loved my dog and all of that. Then COVID hit and my sister was also in Goa. She lived separately, we were separate. We decided to move together for COVID because we didn't know how long
Yeah.
we'd be apart. So she moved and we moved to a new place in Asagaon, and the neighbor, who was a local guy, he had picked up some puppy, brought it home, tied it to the tree, and he would come back drunk and beat that puppy. And that puppy was literally like from my bedroom, like 2 feet.
My God.
I went into such a heavy depression. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. Ek to COVID, it was so new, we didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
I went to the police station, they weren't ready to come, nobody was ready to come, nobody
Yeah.
was ready to help. He kept threatening me to a point where my landlord in the middle of COVID has evicted us, saying, you guys are spoiling the peace of the neighborhood. I said, I'm spoiling the peace of this guy who's beating the puppy is spoiled. It's his puppy, he can do what he wants.
Oh my God. Oh.
And that, for the first time, Shiba, I felt helpless. Something that I've never felt in my damn life. And the journey started from there, where I started to look into cases of abuse and neglect, and figured out the systems and became friendly with the NGOs and started to learn the ropes. And I realized that there is very little here, and just this is the type of person I am, that if I do something, I'll do it all out or I will not do it. This is me all out. You know, so that's my personality. I'm a go-getter. If I want to chill, I will chill so much. If I want to do, I will do so much. And I think that this is one of my best extreme sides that I love. I never liked me being an extreme person, but this extremity is a great extremity for me, and I want to do so much more, and I am going to do a lot more. And in the next 10 years, I've decided that I'm definitely going to make a change in whatever way I can, and then finally I will retire and I will chill on the beach and I will enjoy myself the way I planned.
That day will come.
That day will come. Yeah.
So it started with one little puppy on Sejal's birthday at 12 o'clock on a rainy night, knocking at her door, and now she runs an animal sanctuary that has about 80 dogs.
150 animals in the hospital and about 80 in the sanctuary.
150 animals plus 80, 80 in the sanctuary. So that has been her leap from there.
One puppy to this.
One puppy to all of this. Were there any hurdles on the way when you first started, or was it just like easy for you to?
Oh, no. It was definitely not easy. So when we started, we didn't have enough funds.
So a team of how many people were you when you started?
It was just me, my sister and 2 more people.
Okay.
And we started from home. So that's when we set up the trust in 2021. And that's when we started to ask our friends and family for support. It is definitely getting tougher and tougher, because the initial support people give you because they know you. They know Sejal, they know that Sejal, if Rishi is doing something, aankh band karke I will support. Now I'm exhausted with my networks. Now I need larger networks, right? And so now I'm focusing on corporates. I'm trying to get corporate funding. They're supposed to be giving CSR money.
Yeah.
I think that the most important thing is monthly supporters.
Yeah, monthly support.
And I feel that I want the community to come together and everybody support little monthly, 500 bucks a month, 1,000 bucks a month.
Yeah.
Because nothing, that will not pinch anybody,
Yeah.
but it will make a huge difference,
impact,
you know. So I've even taken out this campaign. It's called the 1,000 Angel campaign. We're looking for 1,000 people to contribute 1,000 rupees a month and be a pillar for us, because that support is the only support that is truly sustainable, is when the community all give little versus a few people giving a lot.
So tell me, Sejal, what is your monthly cost for upkeep of those animals and running the shelter and your corporate office?
15 lakhs.
15 lakhs a month. That's a lot of money.
I know.
And where to get that from? The best is if every
If
person,
everybody gave 1,000 rupees and we had 1,500 people, that's it.
yeah,
Each of these WhatsApp groups have 400 people,
Yeah.
500 people.
Yeah.
Facebook, social media. I mean, that's all we actually need is
Yeah.
1,500 people
People.
to give 1,000 rupees a
Rupees.
month.
yeah. So basically, you just rescue dogs and cats.
Right now I don't have the space, but I would love to help cows in the
Cows too.
future.
Yeah, because there are so many just on the road.
I know.
But you
It's
need
just-
a lot of space for that. And you can't put your hands in everything. There's
I-
only one Sejal.
No, the thing is that I've been begging the government for land.
Yeah.
They're not giving me land.
Yeah.
I cannot afford to buy land.
Yeah.
So this is a rented space, by the way, and she's told me I have only another 2 years here.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so I have been desperately looking for land from the government or a long lease or a donor who can buy the land and give me a lease, you know. I'm trying to find a solution because I actually want to build an actual proper hospital. But we do work closely with a couple of other NGOs in terms of when we need help or they need help or space or whatever. Yes, but primarily we get absolutely no support from the government.
No support at all.
Zero. In fact, they make our life even more tougher.
How so?
Because they are not providing me with the basics of like land or permissions, like the panchayat complains about noise. Now what can I do? You
a
know?
dog barks.
Yeah. So you should support me that I'm helping this
Yeah.
entire community now.
Yeah.
Bear little bit if the animal is barking.
Yeah.
How do I keep them quiet? You
So,
know?
do you have this do you go around neutering dogs also?
Of course, that's our main work.
Yeah.
So we pick up dogs, we pick up cats, we make sure that we get them all sterilized, we focus on females so that they don't reproduce. We've worked very closely with this entire area, like Aldona market now is like 100% sterilized.
And what about rabies shots?
That also we do. But there is another NGO that also does that. So we only vaccinate the ones that come to us.
Okay, tell me, Sejal, what do you think has been your biggest achievement so far?
I found my purpose. That's my biggest achievement in life. I found my calling. They rescued me.
That's true. People throughout their lives keep looking for a purpose and they keep meandering here, there, everywhere, but they don't know what they are meant to do.
Yeah.
And you are one of those lucky ones who's found a true calling.
It's my biggest achievement.
Yeah. What is the most rewarding aspect of your work?
I sleep like a baby every night. That is my reward, where I just feel so fulfilled at all times because I see the work that's happening and I know that, I'm proud of myself.
Do you sometimes get a little overtly protective or extra fond of a little one and you feel like maybe I should take this one home? Has that thought ever occurred to you?
So it's a very nice question that you asked, and we do adopt. Okay, so my sister and me have decided that we will only adopt the hospice cases. So when a dog is absolutely dying, that's when we take him home to give him that homely love and care and let him pass with us
Wow.
in peace.
Oh, bless
We
you.
don't
bless
take
you.
puppies home, but we take the absolute hospice ones to final love and care only me and my sister give. And we let that dog pass.
Oh my God, I feel like hugging you. Thank you so much, Sejal. You are doing so much. You're such a good person. We live in such big houses. One little corner, a little baby needs a bed, a bowl. Any one of us can provide that. You know, a little bit of love. That's all they want. So Sejal, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I basically want to make a change at a very different level. I think in 5 years I see myself focusing a lot more on advocacy. I need to bring about a real change, and that means that I need to work with the humans. And while my journey has started with animals, I feel that the real change has to be with the humans. So I see myself getting stronger and stronger on the front of policy, legal advocacy of the laws, making sure the laws are implemented. I think that when the system is in place and the humans are educated, we need to go into these villages, we need to educate these people. And I feel like a lot of times it's ignorance that's causing cruelty, not bad intention. So I'm trying to set up an entire program which is going to focus on human intervention to resolve animal-human conflict, whether it be companion animals or wildlife. And I think that I need to bring this change from top down. You know, if I'm just going to be a hospital taking in animals endlessly, I'm not going to be able to make that actual change.
You can have others do that, and you can
I'm
be the
going to
spokesperson.
focus on bringing out change in society with perception of humans and animals, and working conflicts and resolving issues, and bringing about a much more compassionate community.
A few months back, not very far from here in Goa itself, there's a market called Mapsa Market. It's a very prominent market. There was a man on a motorcycle. He had tied a dog on a leash, and he was speeding and dragging that dog around all over. So that is how cruel humans can become.
Yeah.
And this is what Sejal is trying to stop. So thank you, Sejal, for coming on my chat show, and for my viewers out there, this is again a reminder. Sejal runs an animal sanctuary and a hospital for street dogs who are injured or diseased. She takes them in, and she takes care of them. It is called Angels for Animals, right? And all of you viewers who are out there, in your most littlest way, if you can contribute to Angels for Animals, it would mean a lot for one little dog, one little puppy. And with that note, we've come to an end of our conversation, and thank you again, Sejal.
Thank you so much, Shiba, for doing this.